Bodies is a new Netflix original series based on a graphic novel that I was very excited about. This has definitely been one of those that I was most anticipated watching in 2023 or late 2023. But did it live up to the hype? Let's talk about it. A murder in Whitechapel. 4 different detectives are trying to solve the murder in different time periods. 1890s. Overachiever Edmund Hillingard, dashing 1940s adventurer Carl Whiteman, kick-ass female 2010 detectives Sergeants Sahara Hassan and Maplewood, an amnesiac from post-apocalyptic 2050, which brings a haunting perspective. So I was really enthralled and confused within the first few episodes. There's 8 in total, they're about an hour long, and I enjoyed the whole series for the most part. But you do have to concentrate because it has so many timelines and it jumps in and out of it. It does this thing where it splits the screen up in various ways. So the editor's trying to show you when they're moving over. So it helps, but it still gets confusing because we have those 2 time periods in the past that have similar aesthetics and backgrounds and color palettes, and it doesn't. And it takes a while or a few seconds for you to figure out which time period you're in. It won't take too long, but certainly those first few episodes, it's going to take you aback and get to sort of adjustment of knowing who the characters are. And you won't really care about much of the characters until we're at least halfway through. You might care a little, but for me, it took me at least half the season to really care about what the characters were going through. What kept me coming back to each episode was watching the mystery unfold within the storyline, because I kind of want to know what the hell this story is all about. And the mystery does keep you guessing for the most part, but I would say the overall reveal isn't the thing that I wanted it to be, isn't as big, as enthralling. There's a slight anticlimax to what you think it is because you figured out most of it. It's shown you most of the story. But that doesn't matter because the way it's filmed, the way it's told is what this series is all about. It has a message to tell us, of course, a lot of series do these days, but it's not preachy. The way it's told, the puzzle piecing together reminds me, and I think a lot of people will compare it to the German Netflix series Dark, because that has so many timelines. It is infinitely more complex than this series, and yet I was able to understand which timeline we were in more easier because of how they edited that. This one at times can be confusing, like I mentioned, but what you're going to enjoy here is the cinematography, the set design for each series, and the way that mingles together when we get that final piece or the couple of episodes towards the end. That last kind of puzzle piecing, putting it together, is where it gets really fun. And now that's not to say it wasn't fun beforehand. It was, of course it was, but you kind of are satisfied when you get to those last 2 episodes understanding where it's going. Now for me, my top tip would be don't watch the last minute of this series, because for me that unraveled and undid all the good or the mystery that this series was doing, because they had a conclusion, they had a story, they had a finishing, and then it seemed like they suddenly wanted to be very smart. They wanted to go, oh, but wait a minute, what if it was this? Now I don't know if the graphic novel does this as well. Be very surprised if it does, but it almost feels like, even though this is a limited series, they wanted to leave the door slightly ajar to do another season, and I think that would be a waste. As a contained story, as a one-time watch, it's beautifully acted, wonderful monologues, good kind of story and message behind that, brokenness, family coming together, working together throughout timelines, which is very interesting. The science fiction is part of the theme, but the main story is this investigation. That is the mystery that will keep you hooked in this series, and that's what you want to watch. It's really fun in places, does feel a bit drawn out in other places, feels like it could have been 6 episodes instead of 8, I would say, and that last minute was a little bit disappointing to me. So looks, style-wise, editing, score, acting, phenomenal. Pacing, not as great as I wanted it to be, and that last minute, not awesome. So I'm going to give it 3.75 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one. Congratulations.
Really fun one-time watch. Not as good as I was hoping it to be, but still really enthralling. Almost hit that 4 mark for me, but the more I think about that last minute, it pisses me off, man. So let me know once you've seen all 8 episodes, or you've read the graphic novel and you know how it actually ends, what they've done in comparison. It'll be a really interesting thought process to understand as to why they did that. Now we have a number of other series and movie reviews coming this week. I took a few days to watch a bunch and now I'm recording a bunch together, so you'll see my face more and more on this channel. If you like my content, support us however you can. Check out our Patreon. It starts at just £1. We collaborate with that Patreon with Movies and Munchies. Highly recommend you check out his channel as well. He's great. Going to be doing some more anime reviews this week and some more Korean reviews this week. Got a lot of new content coming because suddenly it's that time of year where we get a lot of content dropping. So check out what you've missed out on my channel. Do hit the bell, subscribe, all of that nonsense that YouTubers ask for, because it does actually help in trying to beat the algorithm and turn this nonsense into something more than a hobby. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.